Good morning and welcome to another one of our wonderful events. This is our first Tring Book Festival event for 2021. My name is Ben. I run our bookshop and the Tring Book Festival. And we're honoured to have Sonali Shah with us, who is the author of this wonderful book. Sonali Shah is a BBC TV presenter and general good egg in life. Tell me about this book, Sonali. What is this?
It is a book about two siblings, really. Now, I know it's got Diwali all over the front page and you think it's a Diwali book, but really it's a story about Ariana here and her sort of a little bit annoying brother, Rafi. And I think lots of us have that relationship with our siblings. I've got an annoying little brother. It was his birthday yesterday on Diwali. He's 39. And even though he's 39, which is quite old, I think, he's still annoying and he's still my little brother. So he'll always be annoying.
Don't worry, youngest, but I'm the youngest of six and I'm
what do your brothers and sisters think about you?
I am really the annoying one. So hands up in all the classrooms.
This little Rafi could be Ben over there.
Hands up in all the classrooms if you're the youngest one in the family. I'm sure there's.
Or hands up if you have an annoying little brother or sister. That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. So the story is about Ariana trying to get on with her things and do all her favorite bits and pieces. But you know when you're building your favorite Lego kit, but your little brother gets in the way and starts moving pieces and you don't want to lose them. It's that kind of relationship. So we all know about that. So that's what the story's about. And it just happens to be happening at the time of Diwali, which is the Festival of Lights, which the big day was yesterday. And I know lots of you will have heard fireworks if you weren't joining in the celebrations yourself. So that Diwali happens usually around October, November time. It's not like Christmas Day, which is the same day every year. That's always the 25th of December. This one kind of changes. And then someone somewhere tells you what day it's going to be. And you have to look it up in the calendar about what day it's going to be. So this year, Diwali was yesterday. And today is New Year's Day for a lot of people out there, Hindus and Jains. It's New Year's Day. So happy New Year if it's a new year for you. So 5th of November, an odd time to have a new year, but that's a different calendar.
Just a quick question in there. So from my understanding, it's 5 days. Is that five days?
Yeah. So there are three religions that celebrate Diwali. Hindus, who they do it across 5 days, Jains, and then Sikhs. So they celebrate it all for very different reasons. A lot of people in school I know tend to learn the Ram Sita story, which is the Hindu story about why Diwali is celebrated. They were exiled for 14 years. And when they came out of exile and tried to escape this evil king, they were it was so dark in the forest that they had been in for 14 years. As they came out, there were rows of lamps that had to be lit. And that's why we call it the Festival of Lights. But Sikhs celebrate it for a different reason and Jains celebrate it for a different reason too. And in this country, there are about 3 million people who celebrate Diwali, and across the world, 1 billion people. Now, I don't know how many of you know how many people there are in the world. Probably shout out to your teacher or put your hand up.
Do you know? I think I know. It's about
well, let me test you, Ben. How many people are there in the world?
Well, I'm thinking around 6.5 billion, is it? Or maybe 7 billion?
I think it's over 7 now, I think. So a seventh of the world, those of you who are very good at your fractions, a seventh of the world celebrate Diwali. And you're going to be doing it today too, if you didn't already have a few days of celebrations. And so and I wrote the book because my kids absolutely love Christmas books. They're always so fun. They're full of snow or Santa and lights and presents, and they read them all year round. They don't just read them in December or in Advent into the lead up to the big day and then the bits afterwards. No, they in the middle of July. My two will just be picking up Christmas books because they're so lovely and full of joy. And then I thought, well, actually, can we do the same with Diwali, which is a festival that lots of people might hear about, but not quite know. And maybe you only really hear about it in your RE classes. And actually, let's make a book where Diwali's going on. It's loads of fun. It's really easy. You don't even need to understand why people celebrate it, but you can still join in because all you need to do is help someone light a candle, or you can get one of those other lights and have lots of food and enjoy some fireworks and see your friends and family. And that's all you really need to do. So that's why I wrote the story, because my children kept picking up fun Christmas books. They do it all the time. Honestly, we've got about 15 of them in our library next door.
So I know you've got a few things planned for us. First up, though, we're going to do a book reading, aren't we? So
yeah, should we read the book and then we'll get on with
no, I'm actually going to do the camera
work.
work. So what I'm going to do is, excuse me, just setting up. I'm going to spotlight myself and then change my camera to be on the book.
Book.
There we go.
And look, I've signed loads of them, actually. I signed
Yes.
250 of them with this little book plate that they've put in the book. So
exactly. So we'll talk about those later. So, yeah. Sonali, over to you.
It's called The Best Diwali Ever. And there's my name on the left-hand corner, Sonali Shah, and Chaya is the illustrator. And lots of you will have been chatting in school about authors and illustrators and how they often work together. The Festival of Lights, Diwali, is nearly here. Everyone in my family is so excited, but nowhere near as excited as me. You see, I have plans to make this year's celebrations extra special. I'll help make yummy sweets, wear the prettiest clothes ever, decorate the house with lots of divas, play with my favorite cousins, open holiday presents, stay up late to watch the fireworks. And this year, I'm definitely going to win the Rangoli competition. So Ariana definitely has a plan there for this Diwali. The only problem is my super annoying little brother, Rafi. He's always ruining things, knocking down my building blocks, losing all my puzzle pieces and scribbling over my best art. And no one does anything about it. Your brother's only 3, Ariana. That's how you were when you were 3. Can you see she's standing there like this, not very happy?
She's not happy.
I don't believe them. There's no way that I was that annoying, but that's what they always say. Now, on the first day of the festival, I skipped down the stairs to help my grandmother, I beg your pardon, make the tasty Indian sweets that I love. But look what Rafi decides to do in the top right corner. Cover the entire kitchen floor with flour. He's even got it on his head. It takes us so long to clean up. And can you see? Ariana's grandmother's laughing. The next day, I can't wait to wear my new outfit. Mum bought me this long rainbow skirt. It's the prettiest skirt I've ever seen. But what happens? Well, Rafi gives me a big hug. That's lovely, right? Straight after he's been doing some finger painting. My brand new Diwali outfit is completely ruined. What a disaster. We go to the temple to say prayers, light divas, and watch the dancers. And while everyone is sitting quietly enjoying the show, Rafi decides to get up and join in with the dancing right in the middle with everyone watching. It was so embarrassing and a little bit funny. Then we go to my cousin's house. We always have so much fun eating and playing together. And Rafi spends most of dinner, though, pulling funny faces at everyone. And then he throws food right into my hair. I'm so mad at him. But I try to forget because at last it's time for the school Rangoli competition. For weeks now, I've been practicing creating patterns with colored powder, rice, and flowers. And this is how my design looks in the end. I really, really think it's good enough to win the top prize. What do you all think? Do you think it's lovely?
I
do you
think
think
it's
good
amazing.
enough? First prize? But then what happens? My brother falls backwards into the powder, rolls over and smudges the top of my creation just before the judges see it. Oops. I huff and I puff and all I want to do is cry. My annoying little brother has ruined everything again. But then the strangest thing happens. Everyone who walks past keeps saying how beautiful my Rangoli is. The judges come over and talk about how unusual it looks, especially that top part, before telling me that I've won first prize. First prize. I won because of Rafi's oops. As soon as we get home, all of our friends and family start arriving for our big Diwali party. The house is packed full of people talking and laughing. Rafi's playing in the corner. I go over and give him the biggest big sister hug. Thank you, Rafi. We sit there watching everyone having so much fun together. Papa comes over. Come on, Ariana, let's go outside. You don't want to miss out on your favorite part. I grab Rafi's hand and take him with us. What do you think they're going to see?
Ooh.
We look up just as the rockets shoot off and then burst into round balls of falling stars. The fireworks bang, they whiz, they pop, and they crackle. Those words, does anyone know what those words are called? Where the word sounds like the meaning? Or is it the other way around? The meaning, the way the word sounds like the actual what the word means. It's onomatopoeia. Papa hands me a sparkler. Time to put some gloves on. I think you're old enough to hold one now. And I start making magic shapes with it, which makes Rafi smile and clap. Well done, Ariana, my brother shouts, making everyone laugh. That's when I realize Rafi may be annoying, but life is actually way more fun with him around. And he helped make this the best Diwali ever. The end.
Fantastic.
And at the back there, I've put in a little bit of text just to explain who celebrates Diwali, what it is, and what Rangolis are as well, which we saw Ariana do because she took part in competitions. And the reason that I included that in the story actually is because I used to take part in loads of Rangoli competitions, and I've got some of the pictures in an old album I dug out from my parents' attic. But these are the kind of pictures, the Rangoli patterns that people used to do when they enter competitions. Look, there's me.
Fantastic.
Not looking that happy because sometimes
Did
don't
you
smile.
ever win?
Parents say, "Can you take a photo?" And you just stand there grumpy like this.
And did you ever win the competitions?
I did win some of them actually, because I did do them for years, yeah. And that's why I'm going to show you how to do a few Rangolis now, actually. I know you've got pens and papers ready, so we're going to do the pen and paper one soon, because I want to show you a really easy way to do a flower Rangoli. And I have a spy camera.
Let me get the camera on.
He's going to put on for us, so
go.
that you can also see what I'm doing. So I will show you. This is a flower Rangoli. It's in water. If I shake it, you might be able to see it. And you need to keep it in water, really, to keep the flowers looking alive. Now, this we made on Tuesday. I say made, it's really, really easy. Now, flowers always look good in a bowl like this, don't they? But this one doesn't have water. So if we don't put it in a bowl of water, all of these will die and shrivel up fairly swiftly. And all you need to do, so, you know, if you've got any flowers and your parents are okay about you cutting some of them off and bringing them into the house, and then this is a good way of doing that. And all you need is a big bowl or a small bowl. Could be a cereal bowl, to be fair. Fill it with water, get your flowers, and then I think it's always nice to try and arrange them in the pattern. So I'm going to start with all the pink flowers, these lovely, lovely pink flowers around the outside. Now, the thing about water is things float around. Things float around, but you can kind of then chase them back a little bit. And I'm going to put all the pink ones in a pattern around the outside. And this is so quick. As you can see, we've nearly finished this Rangoli already. And this always looks so pretty. You can put it outside your house because a bit of rain won't hurt the flowers. And I'm going to choose this lovely red one to put right in the middle. A few more pink ones. Now this will stay for quite a few days because the flowers are in water. And you can get sometimes, on my other one, I put in these floating candles that you can sometimes get. So you can put one of those in and get an adult to, but there you go. There's your flower Rangoli. How easy was that? Hey?
Fantastic.
And that's something that you can just do with flowers or leaves from your garden if you want. The next type of Rangoli I'm going to show you is the one that Ariana did in the book, which is traditionally we use colored powder. So I've got lots of colored powder that I used to use as a kid. And these again were in my parents' attic. You can find lots of things in my mum and dad's attic. So I've got loads of different colors. Can you see they're all in the 1990s peanut butter jars? And they've all stayed. They've all stayed. It's really easy to make color. So this is my little rehearsal, which is why it's not perfect. I was doing a little rehearsal yesterday to make sure that I could show you something good. And the colored powder is really easy. You can actually buy, I spotted Rangoli powder in Sainsbury's the other day. So it's really easy. But an easy way to make it at home is to get one of those Ziploc bags, pop some salt in it, and whatever great, coarse or small, and pop a couple of drops of food coloring and shake it all about. And you'll get powders that look like this. So you can use salt as well, which is really easy and very, very safe. So I'm going to get a plate and show you how easy it is. And I mean, a lot of you will have already done this with glitter and things like that. I'm just going to adjust that. So let's start with the green. You get some powder and you can choose any colors you like, really. Pick your favorite colors. Rangoli patterns tend to be using quite bright colors because they're always quite fun. And you can use different things to help you pop. You can use spoons, or you could use different things to help you pop the powder. You can do it on a piece of card. I'm doing it on a plate because then it's easy to just lift up and not spoil. And all I'm going to do is pinch a little bit as if you're putting a little bit of salt in some cooking, and do some spots all around the edge of this plate. And you can do this with the sand you have at school. You might have some colored sand. I know some schools do. There's loads of kits that you have at home as well that sometimes has colored sand, and rather helpfully, they also give you some glue so the sand or the glitter will stick. But it's really, really easy. I'm just using an ordinary dinner plate, an ordinary colored powder, and some people use rice. You can use lentils or pasta shapes. That's always fun as well, because the pasta shapes already add excitement, and you could paint your pasta shells. When it's raining one weekend, you could paint your pasta shells and then create a pattern, and you can glue it down as well. And Rangoli patterns are just about repeating patterns. A lot of you will have spoken about repeating patterns at school, sometimes even when you're doing your maths. So I've popped them all there, and I'm going to get a fork. See, all you need is a fork, and I'm going to just try and bring each thing into the middle. Can you see the pattern that just a simple fork creates? Already you can start to see how easy it is to create a really nice Rangoli on your dinner plate with some colored salt or powder or rice.
Where do we get all the colored salt and powder from?
Well, so if you have some salt at home, you just pop in a couple of, most people have a little bit of food coloring somewhere, don't they? You just pop it into one of those Ziploc bags, pop some salt into a Ziploc bag, pop a couple of drops of food coloring and shake it about, and it will all turn colored. That's all you need to do. So now what I'm doing is putting a bangle that I've taken from Ariana, my 8-year-old Ariana, while she's at school, don't tell her. And I'm using just a dry paintbrush just to push all the green from the middle to keep it all neat. So can you see what I've done? I mean, even that alone looks nice. And then you could put a little tea light in. And then if I pick another color, I'll pick 2 colors, bright red, pink, and yellow. And I'm going to pop little drops of it in a repeating pattern. So an alternate pattern.
I've got questions already coming in. I've got Orson from St. Bart's has asked, do you have an annoying brother?
Yeah, I do. His name's Arnold, and he's my little brother. He's 2 years younger than me. It was his birthday yesterday, so we had a lovely little party for him, as well as it being Diwali. So good timing on his part. And of course, he's still super annoying. Because I mean, Ben's a little brother to five brothers and sisters. I'm sure they still think you're a little bit annoying.
It's my role in life. I think it's funny how you have your roles in the family. I think the youngest has to be annoying.
Look what I've done there. I've just popped little coloured bits of powder in the middle there, and I'm just going to use a little toothpick and just swirl just to create a bit of interest, just any which way. And it doesn't matter if it all goes a bit wrong or looks a bit funny, or you didn't need it, you know, you don't even need to swirl it. And then I'm going to pop a little bit of green back in the middle just to add to the pattern.
Marley from St. Bart's asks, what's your favourite colour? What's
my favourite colour? For Rangolis, it is probably like pinks and reds and purples. But can you see the contrast of, and that's all you need. I mean, you could do more. You could do little drops there. You could add things in between. A really easy technique. If I use a pink, can't even open that pink. A really easy technique is to use round spoons, which are little dessert spoons or any kind of spoons, and you can pick it up with a spoon. So we've already used a fork. This is honestly just a Rangoli using forks and spoons. And you can use the shape of the fork to pop it in the gaps. So it's really easy to create different patterns in between.
Oh, that is great.
And it's just really vibrant, and all you need to do, you know, and people like to welcome people to their homes over Diwali using lights and Rangoli patterns just to make them feel welcome. And there's, you know, at a time when it's getting really cold on the school run and it's really dark outside, it's a little bit difficult to get up, I know, for school in the morning. It's a really nice way to just have a little bit of fun. So there you go.
Year five at Bulbourne ask, how long does it take to make a Rangoli pattern? I mean, what's the longest someone could spend?
Oh, well, there are people that make them like on the floor of shopping centres or on the ground outside. And that's another tip. That's a very good question, because it's reminded me that you can, lots of you will have outdoor chalk, or you can create these patterns. And the one I'm about to show you to do on that you can do on pen and paper. Let me get my easel over here. Make sure that you can see. Hopefully you can see that.
I'm going to put
the pattern that I'm about to show you, which is actually from the book. Now, if you all get your pens and papers ready, and I'll begin when you're ready.
I plow on. Time is going so fast.
It always flies when you're having fun. And this one won't take long to. So we've done the flour Rangoli. We've done the powder one, which you can do with rice or lentils or anything like that. And I know you've got pens and papers ready. And now we can do one of the patterns that Chaya has done in the book. So this looks fairly impressive, doesn't it? This one.
Lovely.
And I'm going to show you. And actually, it was Chaya who showed me how to draw it, because I'm not that great an illustrator. But she says that it's actually quite easy. So you can pick any colours. I'm going to bring over my colours. I've got lots of colours here. So let's start with, you can pick any colours for this pattern. I'm going to start with green. What you need to do is do 2 circles. Now, if you're ever doing it at home, sometimes drawing around plates or something is quite a good idea, just to keep the circles a bit neater. But my circles won't be that neat, and that's okay too. I'm going to do 1 circle, and then I'm going to do a much bigger circle. Actually, I'm going to start that again, because I've realised I've done my circle too big. I've done my outer circle too big.
You created carnage in the classroom, as every other child has thought, no, I'm going to start again as well. Just turn your paper over, children.
Exactly. See, it happens to the best of us. It happens. So you've done your 2 circles. Now we're going to create a sort of flower petal pattern. And it doesn't matter how neat it is or isn't, because actually it will always look good when it's a repeating pattern like this. And that's the big secret. Look, see, mine are all kind of different shapes. But look, already you're starting to see, well, actually that kind of looks like a Rangoli, doesn't it? Then at the very top over here, we're going to do what looks like a candle flame. And then we'll do one in this corner. One at the bottom. So it's a north, south, east, west. And then you can fill in the gaps. And the reason I do it this way rather than start here is I find that if I do that one and then that one, then they're not always evenly spaced out. But if you do those 4 first, then it gives you a chance to have them looking all even. But honestly, none of this needs to be perfect. It just needs to be fun to do, and that's it. And look, already you've got a pattern there, and you could leave it at that, and you could go off and color it in. But if you want a little bit more design and it want it looking like the book, you could add a swirl in each of these. Look how much it's already looking. You don't even need, because I've used a color, you don't even need. And then we're going to draw some divas, because Diwali is the festival of lights. So it's nice to have a diva. And the way you do that is you draw a circle. That represents the little pot that the candle goes in. And just to show that it is 3D, you could just do a little thing like that. And then you do a little flame. And that's all it is. And you could do one of those in each of those gaps. And this is something that you can color in later. You can add your own patterns in any of the gaps. The secret is just to try and do it quite repeating, and then no matter how good or bad you are.
Jensen asks from year 4 Waterside, what is your favorite Rangoli design?
I love doing peacock feathers, but they're so difficult to do. I didn't want to make it too complicated, but I love peacock feathers because you can do so many colors and make it look so pretty. And a lot of people draw peacocks. And I love drawing these divas as well, because it is about the festival lights. So it's always about flowers, lights, and sometimes some pretty animals. Now, you can look how similar that is to that. And that took us less than 5 minutes. And that's how easy it is to draw a Rangoli. Now, Chaya's obviously beautifully colored it in, and you can do the same. You can color yours in, you could color these in different colors, make it look however you want. And the beauty will be that all of yours will look a little bit slightly different depending on what you want to do with the Rangoli, but there you have it. And that you can do with chalk outside as well, outdoor chalk. And this really looks nice outside people's houses when you're celebrating Diwali. I hope you enjoyed your Rangoli making session there.
No, that was amazing, amazing. So, we've got loads of questions coming in. And
good, I'm glad.
Keep them coming, everyone. And we will go through them all. And do make sure you mention who the question is from in the classroom so we can...
Yeah, always nice for us to say hello, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
And for you to get a shout out.
So, yeah, what's the most amount of time you have spent personally on a Rangoli design? And did you spend a lot more time when you were younger, when you had more time?
Yeah, a few hours. So if I was entering a competition, because people draw them and they're this big, they're quite big. They're about the size of this, but on the ground and with flowers, with very, very intricate patterns. And so, but there is a time limit. Sometimes they'll say you've got to, it's like an exam, really, if you go for a competition like this. They'll say sometimes, so this is one my mum did.
Wow.
Look how pretty that is. And she won 3rd prize for that. And she did it with a friend. And what's great about Rangoli competitions is generally they allow you to do it with a partner. So you've got a bit of company and it's fun and it's a collaborative effort. And then so you don't get overly worried about doing it. So it's really, really fun. But yeah, and people spend days doing them. If they're inside buildings, people will spend days doing them, especially in India, just because you can make these huge, huge works of art in public spaces, and they're absolutely incredible. And you know, can you imagine the endless possibilities of what you could draw if you had a huge space the size of your classroom?
Fantastic. I've got L. Thomas, don't know where that's from. What is your favorite thing during Diwali? Is there because there's so many days and so many things going on. I suspect the fireworks must be high up there, but
Yeah, the fireworks, definitely. I went to a really lovely fireworks display on Wednesday night, the night before Diwali, which was incredible. And as soon as it was over, my 5-year-old Rafi went, I want it again. I said, we're going to have to probably wait till next year. But actually, it's bonfire night tonight, isn't it? So we'll probably see lots in the sky all weekend, which is lovely. I love seeing family and friends because it's like Christmas. It's like getting together with everyone. So I love seeing everyone. But my favorite bit is the food. Just don't tell everyone that that's my favorite bit. Eating all the delicious food is one of my favorite bits. And there's different food at every house that you go to and wherever you're invited. And it's really, really nice. And because last year we weren't able to go to each other's houses during Diwali, I think this year people are really excited about being able to do that and just seeing people and celebrating. And so we're going to use the whole of November in a way, because we don't need to really start. I know lots of you will have started thinking about Christmas because of your singing and your plays, but I probably won't think about Christmas till the 1st of December. So I'm going to use the whole of November to see family and friends every weekend and have lots of Diwali fun.
Now, I've had a few questions. Is this your first book?
It is my first book. I actually found it really, really hard to write a children's book. I wanted to write this because I thought it would be nice. I celebrate Diwali in the same way that I celebrate Christmas. I'm not very religious and we don't do loads of religious parts to it, in the same way that some people might not go to church when they celebrate Christmas. It's about having a tree and spending time with friends and family and having fun together. And that's how I celebrate Diwali. So I wanted a book to reflect that. And yes, it's my first book. I have tried writing a second, but it's really, really hard. Authors are really, really clever. And I don't know how they do it. And sometimes the words just come flowing out of some authors. But no, yeah, I've also got lots of other jobs because I work in TV and radio too. So it's finding the time and the quiet when I have 2 noisy children who live in this house. It's only very quiet here because they're both at school like you are.
Read from 4S in a school. I don't know which one. Does your daughter Ariana make rangolis with you now?
Yeah, she's done lots of the flower ones, those she loves doing. But this weekend we're going to do the powder one, and because she saw this one as she came home yesterday. She said, "Mummy, that looks great. Can I do that?" And I said, "Yeah." I'm going to show lots of children tomorrow and then we can do it on Saturday. So that will be fun. Yeah, she loves doing it. I think she loves anyone that loves a little bit of arts and crafts. And I know lots of you will. And she also loves colouring in. And I know lots of you will have had those printout sheets of mandalas in your free periods or your periods before registration in the morning. And yeah, there's lots of lovely colouring in out there. So even a simple colouring in is very relaxing, isn't it? So she does a lot of that.
Mm. Gosh, I mean, there's the same questions coming through a lot. How many Rangoli patterns do you think you have made? I suspect that's infinite, is it?
Maybe,
gosh,
maybe, shall I say maybe 100?
Wow.
Maybe 100 over the years. Yeah, I'm just trying to have a think.
What do you think? Is it anything? It's just got to be curly, hasn't it? It's just got to go round and...
Well, there are straight ones as well. So I'm trying to think actually. So there's really easy ones. So this one my friend did, and she must have been and look how simple that is. And so it can be really anything. It doesn't even have to be that complicated. It could. It's just about repeating patterns rather than anything else. So my mum did this is my mum doing a lady holding a lamp because it's the Festival of Lights. That's probably in the 90s. Oh, 1985. Probably before most of your teachers were born.
And 16, what age did you start Rangoli art? Surely, is that as soon as you can hold a pencil? Yeah,
exactly. If you think about it, probably lots of you have been doing Rangoli art without even realizing when you're drawing little patterns on papers. So you've probably been doing it already. So as soon as you're doing little doodles and then repeating the pattern and doing whirly swirly patterns, you can just call that a Rangoli, really.
Mm. Preston and Brooklands asks, what is the significance of all the colours over Diwali? Do they all have different meanings?
I think it's about using bright colors because it's the Festival of Lights, and it's about welcoming someone into your house. And so if you did something that was black and gray, I think when they stepped near your house, and a lot of people put these outside their front door or inside the front door, there wouldn't be necessarily this immediate wow or welcome. But actually, when you use these bright colors, and if you think about it, if you walked into a house and there was this just as you entered, you'd go, oh wow, that's nice. So I think the bright colors signify just the sense of celebration, in the same way that we use bright colors or wear bright colors during lots of celebrations, don't we? Although one of my favorite colors is black, so maybe one day I will do a black and white Rangoli, but I don't think people tend to do that. That would be very unusual.
That's right. What a few children have been asking, how long did it take you to write the book? So, I mean, it's not the biggest book in the world, but
no, it's not, and that's I think that's really the big impressive thing about this book in many ways is all the illustrations, and that's why illustrators are just, I can't imagine ever being able to draw this well. Illustrators are so talented. But what Chaya had to do is, I had some words written down. I don't know how long it took, maybe a few months, because we were going back and forth, because there are not that many words in a picture book. Every word is quite important. And my main thing was that I wanted all of you to understand what I'm saying. I didn't want too many big words in there that are complicated to read, because actually, if you're about 6, 7, or 8, you can probably read most of this yourself, if not all of it. And that means you can read it to your little brothers or sisters, or you can read it to your parents. But, children who are 4 or 5 can have it read to them. And I wanted to make sure that most ages could enjoy it in some way, even if it's just looking at the pictures. But it took me quite a few months. And the way that you write books is that you start an idea and you write things, and then your book editor will take things out and say, do you mind swapping the order? And so I might have had things in different orders. It's a really similar way to the way you all do your creative writing. And, some of you will find it really, really easy and have lots of ideas, and other people struggle a little bit. And I struggled a little bit. And so if you do sometimes struggle with your writing, don't ever think about giving up, because actually, if you ask for help, the way I did it was, when I was struggling, I'd just speak to someone and say, I have this idea, but can you help me find a way to word it in a nice way? Or can you help me with my adjective? Or what do you think I should do here? And they'll tell me. And I think sometimes telling someone that you're having a hard time with writing or drawing or whatever it might be really, really helps. And I persevered, and eventually we've got this book that all of you are enjoying now. So it's certainly
Chloe from Hammond Academy asks a technical question. Would sugar work with food colouring?
Yeah, absolutely. So anything that holds food colouring, and is absolutely, that's why I say rice and things like that, because you can get different coloured rice now anyway, which is already done for you. You can get black rice and red rice and all the wild rices, and you can use those. And sometimes the rice is quite easy to keep things in line, but you can use a little card or the edge of a box or something to push things into place. So if things have fallen outside the line, I wouldn't worry. But it's really nice that if you want to do a powder Rangoli, if you draw a pattern on a piece of paper, then you could use that to then fill in. And this is the idea that sometimes you can use, my mum made this out of an old sewing, what are they called? The thread, the inside of the thread reels. Yeah. And she's just stuck a bit of netting on the bottom and some sellotape. And then you can shake the powder out of there, and it helps you cover a bigger space as well. So, but you can use, little food colanders, and a lot of people have sugar dusters for baking. And that's really, you could use that as well to cover.
Emily from 4H said, what other types of tools can you use? So you sort of answered that.
Yeah, but you can use anything really. So today I used a paintbrush, I used a toothpick, I used a fork, and I used a spoon. But you can use, I've got stencils are really, really good. So if you've got a stencil, I've got this peacocky one. And if I place this flat and then put powder on it, if I lift this up, you get the peacock design. So you'll have lots of stencils at home that you normally use pen and pencil with. Well, actually, you could use that with the art and then lift up the stencil, and then you'll get the image in powder. So thanks for reminding me about that.
Noah from year 5, he's interested in the storyline of the book. Did that come very easily, or is that, so how did you get the idea for the book, was his question?
Well, I'm a big sister and have a little brother. And then my daughter is the big sister and Rafi. And actually, my kids are called Ariana and Rafi because it was easier for me to write with their names in it so I could think about when they're arguing or bickering in the corner and what might be happening to their lives. And I used to hear Ariana go, oh, well, Rafi's so annoying. And we used to say, Ariana, you used to be like that at that age. And she'd go, no, I wasn't that annoying. So I have stolen some lines from real life because actually, a lot of writers do, and that's where you get your ideas from. But my Rafi is a little bit annoyed that I've put in the bit where he is finger painting and then ruins Ariana's outfit, because he says, I've never done that, and he hasn't ever done that. But writers also can make stuff up. That's the beauty of writing too. So it can be true and it can be made up and it can be part of the same story. And that's okay, as long as it's fun. And I hope a few of you were laughing during the bits where Rafi's got flour on his head or started ruining things. I don't think he meant it every time. I think he's just a 3-year-old that was getting in the way a little bit.
Yes. Let's have a look. There's so many questions. I'm just looking there. 44 questions on our and I'm just.
Oh my gosh.
There's so many of them. Noah from 4H is interested in kind of what your favorite book. I mean, when you were a child growing up, did you have kind of favorite books that you read?
One of my favorite books still that I love at the moment reading to the kids is Monkey Puzzle. Julia Donaldson. I absolutely love Monkey Puzzle because it's just so interesting that different animals didn't know whether you should look like your parents or you shouldn't look like your parents. And I found that really, really interesting. And the kids absolutely love it. So I really like Monkey Puzzle. I used to be an absolute bookworm. I am still a bookworm. And I'm wearing a jumper that says, read more books, but none of you need to be persuaded because you're at a book festival today. I used to go to the library and I used to read a book a day. I'd get 15 books out and that would last me 2 weeks. And I used to read a book a day. And if there was nothing to read, I'd read the back of the cereal packet or whatever it might be. And I'm still like that. I read all the time because it's the best thing in the world, because it takes you anywhere in the world and you can be in your living room. And you learn. I love learning about different things. I just find it fascinating. So I love fact and fiction books. But now I really, really enjoy a lot of autobiographies. I like people who write about their own lives because I like knowing how they grew up and what happened. So that's really interesting.
And I mean, I will sort of second what you just said and just say how the children, when they've got a great school and they've got a library and it's just the most engaging place. Yesterday I went to Turn Furlong School, the most in Aylesbury, and they've got this great library and they were just so dynamic, and each class had a library member of the children is responsible for the library. So it's an inspiring thing, and yes, congratulations to all of you for joining this event more than anything else. I'm conscious we've only got a couple of minutes left.
When I was 8 years old, I wanted to be a librarian because I thought that would be the best job in the world because I'd be around books all day. So, I mean, in many ways, look, Ben has the best job in the world because he's
running a bookshop.
Running a bookshop.
I only owned it 2 years ago. So it's kind of, it's I've sort of fallen into it. So many people come in the shop and say, oh, I want your job.
Yes, exactly. It sounds like the best job in the world, and I know it will be tough as well, but you're surrounded by books. What's not to love? You can never turn off. That's the one problem with books. You're just so engaged with it. But listen, switch on the telly. That will help you switch on.
Can I say a huge load of thank yous to all the teachers that made this happen, really. It would be odd, me and Sonali just talking to each other without all of you classrooms. I'm estimating around 3,000 children are watching this event. So massive thanks to you all. It is the first day of our book festival that's happening. We've got Michael Morpurgo and Rob Biddulph. Both events are streamed as well. So wherever you are in the country, you can also go to tringbookfestival.co.uk. Sonali, biggest thank you to you for joining.
No, I want to thank you and all the teachers and students, teachers for just, getting all the kids involved in Diwali this year. That's just amazing.
So I did leave a message with all the schools to say we've got copies of this book and we've got signed book plates. So all of them are fixed in there. So Sonali's name. So And the books are on a discounted price for the next day. So do fill your boots with those, and don't pay postage, because I'll then send them to the schools. But thank you so much. And
thank you so much for joining. And if the teachers, if your school does social media, put the I'd love to see some of the rangolis that the kids have drawn. In the past when I've done this, the schools have posted it, and it's so lovely to see the finished work.
I'd second that. So please tag Sonali, and also tag
Tring Book Festival as well.
Tring Book Festival as well. So we'll all give each school a shout out. But
and we hope, and thank you for helping us kick the festival off.
Thank you. Next up, we're very different. We're doing politics tonight, so very dry. Thank you so much to everyone, and we'll see you very soon. Bye bye.